Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review, and next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Avengers Wave 5, Avengers Endgame itself, Wave 3. Here we have Heimdall. This is the first release of Heimdall, and we're all very excited to get him, I'm sure. However, yes, we would have all wanted him in the armored look, but we didn't get that. We got his look from Avengers Infinity War, and you know what? I'm not even going to complain because this figure is awesome. He looks great. As far as articulation, I don't know that, but he's very aesthetically pleasing from the outside of the package. So it's going to be great to have. So yes, it is Infinity War because it is the look. And there's a nice little touch in here for Avengers Infinity War, even though he was only in there for a couple of minutes. This is great for a Thor Ragnarok figure as well. But anyway, we'll get right to it. Avengers Infinity War logo because he was not in Endgame. Heimdall there. Avengers A at the top. Build-A-Figure Thor. Here on the side of the package, we get the artwork of Idris Elba. Heimdall there looking awesome. Here on the back of the package, we have a look at all the figures in the wave to build the Bro Thor, Thor Lebowski, whatever you want to call him. So Iron Patriot, excuse me, Captain America, Heimdall, Iron Man, Valkyrie, Vision. I am going in order before we get to the Thor Build-A-Figure to review. Now let's take a look at Heimdall's bio. Heimdall, Guardian of Bifrost Bridge. Heimdall uses his all-seeing eyes to protect Asgard at all costs. That's a fair bio. Not a whole lot going on with it. There is the UPC if you guys need that for anything. Now they are popping up at Walmart's now. GameStop will probably be soon. I know Entertainment Earth has shipped out some sets, but you can also get yours at Daming Toys. Link in the video description below. You can order each figure individually. You can also order the figure loose without the Build-A-Figure part if you're not interested in building Thor. But anyway, there he is. And there is that nice little touch that I had mentioned before. Look at that cut in the scar for Infinity War. I didn't even see that at San Diego Comic-Con, but I see it now. Anyway, let's get him opened up. Okay, and here is the Heimdall figure out of the package, and he's a pretty good figure. Some interesting things going on with it, and I'm very happy to add it to my MCU collection. As you guys know, MCU collector, the MCU figures are my favorite, so I'm extremely happy to have Heimdall. I may get another one so I can have one for Infinity War and one for Thor Ragnarok. So a couple of interesting things with this figure that I want to talk about as we kind of get in and take a closer look. The articulation, there's some things going on, which is good, but you know, a couple of things lacking, but a very good figure overall. So here I just kind of recreated that scene a little bit where Heimdall just got finished sending Hulk out to Earth to the Avengers, and Thanos did not like that and said that was a mistake. Took Corvus Glaive's glaive? I believe that's what that weapon's called, right? Or staff, whatever you want to call it. And then stabs and kills Heimdall. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Infinity War, but I would imagine at this point you probably all have. So that's just a quick little thing that I did there. But we'll get right to it and take a closer look at the figure. Okay, so here is Heimdall up close. So there are some really good things about this figure, and then some kind of wonky things with this figure. So first off, the head sculpt is awesome. So mine has a little bit of paint scuff or whatever on his right cheek, but overall the face print on everything, it came out really good and really does look like Idris Elba in my opinion. I think it looks great. It looks spot on like him, but again, you know, there's a little scuff mark. If that wasn't there, it would definitely present a little bit better. Now the other thing to this figure is when you look at the hair, it sits up very high from his shoulders, and that's because of the cape thing that I took off. I wanted to take it off so I can show you guys the figure. So that's why that looks like it. So the figure does look a little bit weird without this on. So it's really easy to take on and off. You just pop the head off, and then you just lift it on up, and you can see it's just there. Nothing going on the inside, but on the outside we get some red painted lines here, some red painted lines there in the front. We get the silver thing, whatever that thing. I know that's got a name that holds it in place, but whatever it is, it's there. In the red lines, and then you get nice sculpt work. You got this, it's kind of made it to look like it's folded over, so that's pretty cool, but not a whole lot really going on with that. So let's get to the figure. So again, the head sculpt I think looks really good. The sculpt work looks pretty nice throughout the figure. So you got this red burgundy shirt thing that he's wearing, and then these brownish pants that he's wearing. We get a little bit of paint wash there over this knee. We get some brown paint going on in the boots there and over here. Then there's just like a dark brown or grayish color for these gauntlet pieces and gloves. And then the belt, we get a little bit of brown wash through here and then through the shoulder piece that kind of goes around. Nothing really going on in the back, and then from what I can tell, it doesn't look like it clips on anywhere, so you really have to work some magic to try and get this thing off, which, you know, if you lift up and then pop the head, you'd be able to take that off if you wanted to, I guess, if you worked it down the legs or something. But no big deal. But interesting thing, so here on his right arm, we have this scar that's cut in and there's red paint added to it. So that's nothing I don't think anybody knew about ahead of time, because, you know, the cape was on there and you couldn't tell. So that's interesting. When he got that cut, I really don't know. So I'm not sure, you know, if that was ever really highlighted in the movies or anything. So that cut's there. And then we also get this big gash right here on the figure. Now at San Diego Comic-Con, I didn't notice that thing at all. And maybe because I was just too hyped up to see the figure and the rest of the figures that I didn't notice it. From the promo images, I didn't notice it either. It's because of the way they positioned the figure and I wasn't paying attention. So as soon as I got it in hand, I'm looking, I'm like, holy crap, look at that. So we got the gash in there, red paint added in for blood for the scar. Now, at first I was kind of thinking, you know, maybe that's because, you know, Thanos stabs him in Infinity War, but you know, I don't know. He kind of stabs him right in the middle of the chest in the movie. Maybe he got cut like that in Thor Ragnarok, and I'm just not remembering correctly. But you guys let me know down in the comments below if there's something from Thor Ragnarok that came from, or maybe it is really, you know, with Thanos stabbing him, or it's just how he looked on the ground before Thanos stabbed him. We just couldn't really get a good look since it was kind of dark. So it's just kind of an interesting thing that's there. Now, the figure itself looks really good, but the things that are kind of wonky about it, so if you look at these hip joints, there's a lot of gap in there for those legs that just looks kind of funny. So it's really weird. So here you could see there's just a lot of space in between the leg and the pelvis hip joint there, and that's just kind of weird to me. So the legs look very skinny compared to the body, and the body itself isn't very big. So having the cape off, you look and you're like, oh, you know, he's kind of small, but you know, you get the cape on, then you know, it really hides that, and it's not really so much an issue. So, you know, it looks a lot better that way. So it's just kind of how you prefer to have it. So I'll be displaying it this way. You know, if I get a second one for Infinity War, I'd probably do without. So this would definitely be like my Thor Ragnarok look for him. So let's zoom out and look at his articulation. So here's the look with the figure with the cape on. Now we're actually going to take it off for the articulation, because this thing just really gets in the way. So you can see, you know, he's pretty thin. You know, it just doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't really look the best like that. But anyway, so Heimdall, he can look all the way down. He can look up somewhat because the hair does have a little bit of freedom without that cape on there, so that's good. You get full swivel in there and you get some pivot going on. Shoulders can go up very, very high, so that's awesome. Full rotation, of course, swivel at the upper bicep. We have a double jointed elbow, which works out well. We get a swivel at the wrist and a hinge. And then the hinge on the right hand is the roll of the dice type motion, which would be the hand that he would be holding the sword, which is the Bifrost sword that we've seen have 2 previous releases before. So that's pretty cool. And this one actually looks good. Silver paint for the blade, and then a couple different colors for the handle, which is good. No ab crunch on this guy. He has a diaphragm joint, so he can't pivot to the side that much, pivot to that side that much. Going forward, he can bend down a little bit forward. Going back, you could go back a little bit, but then it kind of looks a little wonky there in the front. So, you know, just careful with that. There is, well, you know what, there is, it looks like it's cut for a waist swivel. It's kind of funky the way that's cut right there. But there is no waist swivel on this guy, so you just turn it with the diaphragm, of course. So that's kind of unfortunate. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick forward that much. Can go back a tiny bit. There is the upper thigh cut there. Double jointed knee, which works well. No boot swivel. Foot hinges all the way down. Get some hinge going up, and then you do have ankle pivot. So fair amount of articulation. It just looks kind of, he looks very, very thin in my opinion. Okay, so in terms of accessories, he comes with the, what is this, the left leg for the Thor Build-A-Figure, and that's a very short leg, so I haven't really taken a close look at the torso piece to see how much of that leg is still attached on there, but this is a very, very short leg, and then you see the feet, and it's pretty fun. He's actually got Crocs on. How awesome is that? That's crazy. So we'll put that off to the side with the other Build-A-Figure Thor pieces. Here we have a look at the Bifrost sword. This is the only other accessory that he does come with, and the really awesome thing is we have storage for this sword. So that is pretty cool. You kind of have to work it, but there it is. So the sword can actually stay in place on the hood, so it's actually got that cut open in there specifically so you can hold the sword. So that is pretty awesome when you can do that for Heimdall. So I really like the way that looks. I'm glad that they did that, so we actually have somewhere to put the sword instead of getting a packed in useless sword that Thor never used at any point in any of the movies. We actually finally get Heimdall, who actually used the sword. So that is pretty awesome. Okay, and so for your size comparison, here we have Heimdall next to Thor that he wears at the very end of Thor Ragnarok, or kind of throughout the course of Infinity War. And you can see that the sizes don't really line up, and I think that's because of a couple of problems. I think Heimdall is undersized. I think Thor is oversized. Now, this is my favorite Thor figure so far. All the Infinity War one's pretty good with the cape, but you can see that there's just a big disparity between the heights of these two, where I think they should be a little bit closer in size together. But this Thor is just, in my opinion, too big. Heimdall a little too small. Okay, and here is Heimdall next to Hulk, and you can see he's way, way, way smaller than Hulk. And I think size-wise, it probably makes a little bit of sense. I think the Hulk is a pretty good size. Here is Heimdall next to Loki. Now, if only we had an Odin figure we can do Heimdall next to Odin. Not that I guess they've been together too often in the movies. I think there's only probably a couple of scenes of them together, and they're never really side by side. But there they are. Alright, and there's my review. You guys let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of the figure. Are you going to be picking it up? Were you really hoping for the armored version more than this? And who knows, maybe we'll still get it. You guys let me know down in the comments below. If you guys liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate the support. Subscribe if you have not already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.